Lisa Cosmas Hanson is CEO of video game consultants Niko Partners, joining us now. Lisa, 2 million users in the first 24 hours of the global release. How significant is that?
It is significant. It shows that there is global demand for this type of martial arts, beautiful art style genre. But I think that really it is popular because it's free, and there aren't very many of these big immersive RPGs like this that are free. And it's also available on Steam, and a free Steam game of this nature is not common. It's also notable that this game has been out in China for a year, and it has been a good game, a strong game, but not an off-the-charts game in China by any stretch. And so I think that what this demonstrates is the global demand for some of the Chinese culture, the Chinese art style, the Chinese game development style. It wasn't just a one-hit wonder with Black Myth Wukong or another recent RPG with the same sort of martial arts genre. It was Wu Chong Fallen Feathers, and now we see this a third time, at least, with this new game.
How quickly is Chinese gaming and Chinese development of gaming growing, actually?
How quickly is the development growing? Well, we've been studying Chinese games and the China games market for more than 20 years. And this market has, I wouldn't say quickly, I'd say very steadily and importantly, methodically grown from a domestic development expertise standpoint, starting off as an in-source development powerhouse for global game developers such as Ubisoft, or back in the day others, maybe Bandai or Namco, which were separate companies 20 years ago. And then as the game developers in China developed expertise, they went on to being kind of full game developers, perhaps doing outsourcing, and then finally developing, building their own development studios domestically. And then as we've seen some powerhouse giants like Tencent and NetEase emerge with many studios underneath them, we can see that the skills are just growing, the depth is going deeper, and really it has not been a sudden entry. I'm not saying you said that it was sudden, but it has not been a sudden entry.
It's interesting if we look at, you mentioned, yes, it's free. That's part of the draw, obviously. But there's an interest, it seems, in Chinese history and martial arts, the so-called wuxia theme. Both Where Winds Meet and Black Myth Wukong seem to be focused on Chinese history, mythology, martial arts. Do you think that's part of the interest?
It is part of the interest. There's another game that's not an RPG. It's a different genre, but it's called Naraka Blade Point, and that game has even found more success globally than these other games have. And I think that when we look at this, the display of the art style, the sort of cultural history, and the beautiful gameplay elements of martial arts coming from China, the rest of the world is embracing this, I believe, to look and see what's going on there. I think importantly also, games like Black Myth Wukong, or even this new game Where Winds Meet, we're looking at the cultural kind of sightseeing, the scenes of China, and the developers are spending great amounts of time traveling the country to incorporate actual artifacts and actual art scenes and actual locations, which has really helped loop in tourism to the success of the games domestically and shine a light on things that foreigners might not be able to have access to otherwise.
Completely fascinating. Very interesting indeed. Thank you so much for your time. Lisa Cosmas Hanson, CEO of video game consultants Niko Partners.